host is not here,
Yeah.
but
Do you want?
do you need any assistance, or do you feel ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay,
Or you can just say hello, then
sure,
people should sit and I can
sure.
start.
Hi everyone, welcome. This is the workshop for preventing extremism through education in Manitoba, hosted by Dr. Kausar Ahmed. We're very happy to welcome here this morning. So this workshop will take us straight to lunch for 1 hour, and yes, it's meant to be interactive, so there'll be opportunities to ask questions and to really engage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak on a topic which is something I actively pursue. Um, a very warm welcome those who have come to Winnipeg. Usually, we don't find a lot of tourist interest in this city, but if you're traveling, you are the bravest ones. And the good news is, right after it, we'll eat together. So there's another part of good news. And my name is Kausar Ahmed. I teach at University of Winnipeg, but I am very active in terms of researching extremism and radicalization to violence, almost 2 decades now. And the reason I volunteered because I always look for opportunities to interact with you, because the more I interact, I get more ideas. And my original realm of research and studies is about prevention, and this is the path I chose years ago because I'm interested how we prevent, because we have enough knowledge on these various things going on. And to focus, you can't. Um, okay. And the focus of my particular uh, audience is about teachers, educators, and this is why I'm very much interested for uh, having any chance to meet you and interact with you. We started a project back in 2021. It's called ERIM, in short, Extremism and Radicalization Prevention in Manitoba, which you see a screenshot there. And it was funded by Public Safety Canada for 3 years. And just last year, October, we wrapped it up and submitted our reports, etc. So this project was, targeted for the teachers, and over 3 years we interacted over 100 teachers in Manitoba, and not only teachers, some stakeholders. So today I just aimed. My scope is very limited. One is to tell you what is happening around our society, in our society, and around the globe, little bit, but mostly North American context, let's say Western liberal democratic contents. And this is something I always love to do because so many things are, coming up every hours. It is for us, even those who are actively involved with this research, is sometimes overwhelming, and also kind of always catching up things, and new groups are coming up with new ideologies and all, etc. And I, of course, as a researcher, I am connected with various networks, various scholars, practitioners. So we collaborate, we talk, share each material. So some of the very recent developments I have collated for you, just for your awareness. And this is one thing that we also appreciate, that teachers should be aware what is happening around, because whether you agree with me or not, which we'll definitely share the ideas a little bit after the presentation, that our young folks are actually aware and they're in it. And in many of the occasions when I spoke to teachers and stakeholders, there are few parents, teachers, both. We spoke in person, and they have agreed to the fact that young people are already in it, and whether and how they subscribe and consume those knowledges, that is different issue. So today, first part, we'll talk about uh, the trends, and as I said, our main focus in the and many of the things I will refer today in terms of prevention has been kind of collected and collated from our project, which is kind of very contemporary. And I intentionally said that we don't want to talk about intervention because this is very complex social and political issue that we endure in our societies. Each society is different. Even you'll be surprised that even the towns and cities are different in terms of, understanding the phenomena itself. So we don't talk about intervention much. We talk about prevention. Um, for academics, researchers like us, we have a serious problem. We need something to, define. So I want to get rid of this problem right in the beginning, just to give you a bunch of definitions. But in essence, there are certain, parameters that we have used in our project, and we continue to do. There are three different continental description of these things. Nonetheless, our main objective is to understand whether ideas actually promote violence. So violence is the key. So in many ways, and I'm sure you are a very educated audience here this morning, you have come across, and maybe you will come across in the future, there are many things that we see in social media, in mainstream media, in our day-to-day talk, personal interaction, which is okay because good ideas, radical ideas are accepted. That is how society progressed. Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, MLK, all were radicals, all were subjected to law enforcement agency surveillance for years and years. So this is not nothing new. But what is important for us today to share with you, that what we term that if some ideologies is pushing someone to understand and take violence as the only means to resolve something. So that is our main focus of interest. In Canada, we have done quite a bit of work since 2011. And you might be surprised. Only 2011? Yes, only 2011. Public safety started expressing their interest after that time because they launched a big project. It's called Kanishka. And then onward, we have progressed quite a bit. Now we have a Canada Center, and which funded our project. I'm very grateful, and I take this opportunity to convince them to fund me again if they hear it. But nonetheless, they have quite a bit of resources, manpower, people, and ideas. So they are doing it for some time over last 14, 15 years. But Canada has seen violence quite a bit since 1986 Air India bombing. As some of you might be aware, a large-scale terror attack that took place back in that time. But since 9/11, things started changing quite a bit, and I think the issues that we'll discuss mostly comes after 2016, and 2016 is also a marker. Uh, Again, problem with the academics. We again go back and see what happened and all these things. But the last four items are important: far right, far left. Far left in little less number because they are heavily oppressed, after the fall of Berlin Wall by us. So they are kind of in the sideline, but they do have very extreme ideas, and sometimes they also talk about violence. But neo-Nazi, white supremacy, these are all kind of grouped together because they have common ideologies of changing society and other things. So we kind of group them together. And as I said, every sector of this area, we had difficulty understanding how do we really differentiate between group A and B and C. So what Canada and Canada Center did is, and of course, in general, Canadian policies, we group them together into ideologically motivated violent extremism. So ideology is the factor that currently we emphasize upon in order to investigate some issues. Then we started seeing conspiracy, a lot of things. Well, conspiracy is a very age, I think is right from the birth of, let's say, civilization, when we transformed from hunter-gatherer to large-scale agrarian societies 10, 12,000 years ago. I think since then, we love stories. conspiracy theories are basically stories. So somebody comes up with a story, nice narrative, and then push it to the groups or so storytelling and transform into conspiracy is an old practice. But what we are seeing now is that this is very difficult to validate, and if you belong to some group, it is quite likely that you will subscribe to some theories of conspiracy. And many groups that have perpetrated violence, we have seen when we studied their manifestos and their social media accounts after the attack, we have seen they have subscribed to some ideologies, which is kind of conspiracy. And also, after COVID 2021 and 2, we have seen a very sharp increase with regards to the groups, those who can be, a kind of group together as anti-institution or anti-government. And of course, you are tracking the incident that happened in Minnesota this couple of last 2 days, and the perpetrator was apprehended this morning. So this is something coming very fast. And sometimes ago, I wrote a paper on anarchism and anti-government, trend that we see is kind of, they have some similarities of anarchist movement, early 20th century, late 19th century, especially the narratives and all. But this kind of anti-government institution things are now highly organized, because in 20th century or late 19th century, we did not have Facebook, we did not have WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram, but we all have now, and we can mobilize a group of people very quickly. So this is the fundamental change from there. To start with, let me tell you, whatever happens outside has a ramification in our society, and it is getting deeper and deeper. People subscribe to the global events unprecedented way, and they feel the relationship of their country they come from, which is under attack or which is under conflict, tremendously. If you just collect the number of protests and demonstrations that took place in our country from October 7th of 2023, you will be amazed that how many times people have come together and how many groups popped up. Again, protest demonstration is absolutely valid in democratic societies, but the point I'm trying to make is that global conflict has local ramifications, and it is going to go for, I think, next couple of months, as you know, the latest flare up in Middle East. Freedom Convoy movement in Canada, we first saw such kind of tremendous collaboration amongst groups, if you can group them under anti-government and anti-authority movement. And the reason is that this is the first demonstration of an organized group talking about nation, country, institution. And we have lots of data, and as you know, many of them are have been tried in the court. Canada, for the first time, after the 70s, for the first time enacted Emergency Act. Civil rights groups have already submitted, and it went to court. So we have tremendous data on this group and their activities, which is still going on. And especially, I always face question after such presentation, and people don't agree with me of 100% agreed democracy. So we agree to disagree in a point that these groups have the right to express what they want, what they think is right for the country, which is again very absolutely right. But when you go back to this group and a little bit read carefully about their mission and vision, then you might find some troubling indications. And as a researcher, this is why we say that these groups when they come together with an idea of overthrowing a government is problematic. Lots of money flew in this whole movement, huge, tremendous, two online platforms raised money, Gives and Go, and another one I'm trying to remember. So they raised jointly $18.1 million, and of course, government intervened later on. So much of the money were not disseminated, but just to show you the tremendous ability of raising money. And I lead a not-for-profit, and I wish I could get some of their monies of the record. Amarnath Amar Singham is one of our country's lead researcher in this area. He's very good. He teaches from Queens. So he did a very quick survey at that time. And just to show you that money comes from US too, and especially during that time. So it is very much fluid. Although Mr. Trump says that we should be careful about tariff, but I don't know where from this money is coming. But anyways, this is something is very prevalent in terms of these groups and their ability to raise funds. Anti-Semitism has, my title is Avalanche, because it's a massive amount of anti-Semitism, massive, tremendous rise in terms of groups, graffitis, and etc., etc. So sometimes we just say that, oh well, anti-Semitism is there, or what to do with it, but it is really a danger in our society now. And one of the ways we can measure it is through the incidence of hate crimes. But again, we have promulgated a law on hate crime or hate motivated crime in Canada now. And also there is an act, is called online harm prevention. If you have the time to go back and see, we have Canadian government has already done it. But the problem is many do not report. And there are reasons why people don't report. And whatever reporting we have, this is just a snapshot of the rising trend of anti-Semitism. And our law enforcement agencies are also not very much equipped to deal with these things in terms of their resources and other things and training. But anyways, our law enforcement agencies are catching up. They are going into workshops. I have spoken in some. So it is gaining ground, but still there is a lack in terms of understanding how to deal with hate crimes or hate incidences. In most of the Western countries, you see another gap with regards to hate crime and prosecution here. You see, prosecution is even less and lesser. So even if you report, it is seldom will be prosecuted, and it will take longer time. And even these things like social media and other things are not very much accepted sometimes in the court rule of law. So this is the problem in terms of dealing with the hate crime and hate incidences in many of our Western countries. How many know these gentlemen? And how do you know, Sandra?
Chair Polyev stopped beside a camper trailer somewhere around New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and had a great visit with them.
And
Accidentally.
Accident. Absolutely. And anyone can someone show some idea what is this group about? What is diagonal? You see, there is a diagonal mark in the map. So I don't want to kind of encourage you to listen to him, but I do subscribe, because as a researcher, that is the alibi I have always. So he runs a podcast. He runs a group as well in the social media, and for many years now. And he came to the limelight actually during COVID, and with the idea of this group that, according to their understanding, the North America can be divided diagonally. And in the one side, liberal intervention for COVID and other things, and the other side, these are without anti-vax and without any kind of instructions. So according to their ideologies, they've divided this whole continent into two, and they believe that this is how government is stifling freedom of choice. And don't subscribe, just see that they have actually published a trope of anti-Semitic symbols and descriptions in their Signal and Telegram channels. So I'm not going into details, because as I said, I don't want to because somebody warned me that if you are saying this, people will be curious and then they will be in the rabbit hole. So this is the kind of thing I just wanted to show you, that there are tropes of anti-Semitic messages coming from there. This another group newly popped up is called Second Sons of Canada. Anyone? Any idea? Okay, so some of you are nodding. So you are aware of this group. So this is something is appealing to our young people, because there is something very patriotic, very nationalistic, and this is one of the main narratives of far right groups. Most of them are kind of, they cover their ideologies behind these nationalistic ideas. And very recently, this is one of the screenshot with this anti-Semitism segment that I am talking about, and people are talking about October 7th and aftermath, and how it is polarizing our society. So this is taken from the Free Press, if you are interested. And also recently reported by a Canadian anti-hate network. Again, very recent cases, just 2 months ago, people have gathered openly, and this is something not happened before, that people are gathering quite openly and publicly, and showing their symbol signs and what they want. But this is something happened in Toronto very, very recently. And also, in many cases, you will find police, of course, investigates these kind of things, but it takes time and it takes energy for the law enforcement agencies to really complete some of their, interventions. Another new group, Soldiers of Saint Joseph. How many of you are aware again? And it is from Manitoba. So Manitobans, we can take pride of it, if you lack pride. But the point is, this group has already started their campaign in social media. They are available, and again, my fear is many of our young people are already subscribing to the ideas. Again, the trend is these groups openly talk about nationalism, Canada first, or saving a particular ethnic race. So this is their main discourse when they push their messages through the social media platform. So parallelly with anti-Semitism, we do see Islamophobia rising in country. But there is no comparison. Hate is something you cannot compare, because one hate incident versus another. So we don't. But what we are just saying, that Islamophobia is also rising in many, many ways. And you have seen the ongoing trial of a person in Toronto who rammed a vehicle on a Muslim family. Yeah, London, Ontario. So this is something just being completed now. And yesterday, those who attended Payamakavan's lecture, you must have heard too, right? The mosque attack. So Islamophobia is rising, and I think on 10th of this month, our Canadian representative was in museum speaking about Islamophobia. Canadian Anti-Hate Network also reported that these kind of discourses are, gradually seeping into our political discourses. And this is just something I wanted to show you, that there are many, but this is coming into our regular political dialogues and discourses in question and answer session in parliaments, both provincial and federal. And in any given time, if you do check any surveys, legitimate surveys like this one, you will find that this prejudice against a particular religious ethnic group is on the rise, and especially, as I said, after October 7th, in many, many ways. After 16, we thought that we are done with this group. Actually, we are not. And this is again an example very recently taken, May 12th, actually, just a month before. And this group is also active, let's say, if not very much in the forefront, but active. And also, you have seen that this news as well, fathers on investigation, and they were trying to do something from the border. So this group is working very closely with other groups, and we don't know what is the extent of them unless Some of them are apprehended by law enforcement agencies. Post-truth and conspiracy theories is my next point of discussion. Q. And again, may I know what do you understand by a simple letter Q? How many of you are aware of QAnon? Okay, Anon. So now you are aware, Anon, yes. But Q is the main symbol they use in many platforms, even in the T-shirts. So QAnon, again, a little old ideology we are dealing with for some time, purely conspiracy theory, but you will be astonished to see how many followers they have kind of accumulated over the past 5-6 years. Now it is in millions. What they actually talk about is a story. And here it impacts how Mr. Poliev once, as said by one of our participants here, he was there with them, and it quickly became very popular in all other social media, that what is the intimacy of political leaders. But my point is, for the political leadership, it is important because people visualize others by seeing. And if these groups are seen in a close relationship with political leaders, it might be a problem in terms of curbing these groups. World Economic Forum is another target of conspiracy theories, and these groups believe that through World Economic Forum, governments is trying to exert pressure and control our regular lives. Do you really believe that something has to do with the wildfires and conspiracy theories? What is the connection? Any ideas? How wildfire can be related to conspiracy theory? Someone has studied, of course. Yeah, that is the point. And the reason I brought it up, because they asked me, this media, they approached me and they said, Dr. Ahmed, can you talk about conspiracy theory and wildfire? And I was surprised myself because I had no clue before when they approached me. So I started researching, and it is again astonishing to see that there are so many things going on. And one is, as our participants said, it is something about the conspiracy behind who kindled. And I'm sure with our ongoing things in Manitoba, what is the discussion in the social media. But the idea is that in every conspiracy theory, the starting point is some fact. It is fact, true. Something has happened somewhere. And then when it is kind of tweaked and twisted, it becomes a story and people subscribe. But it starts with a fact. And this is something I spoke. It is available in our many channels. You can see hear my interview. Do you know her? Anyone? So I thought you are not familiar with her, but thank you very much for your awareness. Yes, I don't know when the king came, why somebody didn't refer her to meet her. But anyways, the point is, she has a lot of followers, and she, of course, resides partly in Alberta, but her ideologies came into prominence after the Freedom Convoy or during the Freedom Convoy movement. And you see, she has a lot of coverage from BBC and all these, and this is how they gain legitimacy. You see, we all understand, we are educated folks here, we understand right and wrong, we can judge. But many people, especially our young people, when they see a coverage from BBC and CTV, but again, you cannot do anything, right? Major news channels will cover these kind of news, but it gives them a legitimacy of their ideas, and people do subscribe. Otherwise, she would have not have million followers, right? And at some point in time, I was also approached by media to talk about urban planning and conspiracy theory. These are so many varieties of. I've chosen a few because we only have a couple of minutes this morning. So it's fascinating to understand because it has a relevance in our life because of this group. Do you know this group, Action for Canada? possibly some of you. So smart cities, which was actually proposed by a British, what you call urban planner designer, that small cities, sustainable, all these things, green and lack of pollution, all these things. But it was turned against, I mean, this group says that this is one of the ways government wants to control us, and let's shut it down. So this group has a lot of followers again, especially we saw in our province too. And this is something is it's still evolving, because this group actively mobilizes people around the cities and around the town. And MKY, and I'm referring a couple of slides now from Mark Andre Argentino. He works for public safety, again, a very lead researcher in our country with regards to these groups, groups of various groups who proposes or proponent of the extremism. So I'm going to refer very quickly. This graffiti is taken or happened in which city? Let's see. Do you have any clue where it happened? Is it a guess, or you are?
It's a guess.
You are right, ma'am. 100%. It happened in Winnipeg, community center in church. Thank you so much. No, but still, you are dead on this one. So MKY, and the reason I'm showing it, this is a very less known group, right? I mean, you see, many of us are not aware of this, but it's a very deadly group which actually flagged in the USA first. So see the FBI's note here. But can you imagine, this group's ideology is right here in our city, and it's a anti-Semitic, mostly anti-Semitic group. And I gave a very long interview in Winnipeg Free Press, and this is the case. And the grandmother was shocked that her young 19-year-old can really attribute or has a tie with MKY movement. But this is something is happening. Is just one case here, but in North America it is coming up very fast. Andrew Tate, some of you are aware. I don't go to gym. You can see, very evident. But people love gyms. People love, big bodies and all these things. So it is also gaining momentum in our country. Active clubs are the names, and this is a real-time screenshot of a social, app that we research sometimes. So the pseudonym is Xenophone, and look what he is saying. And we were following these kind of threads for some time. But Active Club, our young people are kind of drawn into those things very much, because it talks about activities, right? You go involved, and this is very similar in the culture of neo-Nazi movement as well. The base, again, I'm going back to you, ma'am. An educated guess. What do you know about base?
It's a paramilitary
Group, neo-Nazi group, and based out of?
I'm not sure.
Based out of America, but we are very proud that we subscribe them too. So one of our very smart journalists from Winnipeg Free Press, Ryan Thorpe, was the first who uncovered this group. And my humble recollection, I was returning home after a very grueling day at office, and in the lamppost in front of my office, I saw their first poster with the runic alphabets. And I thought it is something, and at that time we had a fringe festival, each year we have. So I thought it's a nice group, trying to do something in terms of, comedy and all. So I was very much curious. I took a photo, and I said, yeah, I must go and attend, because I was unfamiliar with the runic alphabet of, 16th century. So it triggered my imagination. But anyways, life had a different, for me, so I couldn't go. But within a week or so, the first volley of reporting came from Ryan Thorpe, and this group is a very deadly group. Look at the real-time photo of their paramilitary training, possibly shot in one of the places in Manitoba. So they were very smart. They recruited military folks, reservists, one from our place, a small place called Beausejour. So they rely on these groups. And however, with this very quick intervention, this group was kind of decimated, and Mr. Ryan Thorpe is serving sentence in America now. However, just last week, one of my students reported that, sir, base is coming again. And here is the report if you are interested. So I don't know what we should do now, but base is again getting up, and they are arranging a training event in the US. So the idea is that these groups really don't go away. They go under the observation for some time, but then regroup. So this is one of the examples what is happening. This group is paramilitary, of course, in terms of their training, in terms of, but ideologically they believe in acceleration, social change. They believe that through the democratic process of politics, voting, it will take time and years and decades to change society. The best way is to accelerate the change. And how? By instigating race war, by instigating violence and perpetrating violence. Then one group will attack other, and this is how society will change rapidly. So this is the base idea of accelerationism. And if you are interested, we can talk hours later on sometimes, and it is it's a very innovative idea. First came from UK actually, from the lab. So how many of you are aware of this phenomena, ephilism? Very new. Is from Mark Arnett, our researcher in Canada. Do you know about these things? Have you ever heard, ever seen anything? So just so that you are aware, anyways, I'm not going to give you the PowerPoint because I'm still, I don't want you to really research on it. So ephilism is another ideology coming up very fast. It is already there, and it is the description I have tried to put it because it is quite hefty description. I don't want to explain everything, but in general, they talk about violence and ending life, sentient, right? So this idea of ending life is the only way to, sort of thing. And it is connected with the IVF bombing in America, May 18th, very recent. And this is something we are going to possibly see in the future a little bit here in Canada too. So the person who was actually captured, he has a manifesto, and he says, I quote, the end goal is for the truth to win. And once it does, we can finally begin in the process of sterilizing this planet, unquote. So these are not my word, his word. So the point is he's making, and this is something that draw attention for the young people. And the researcher I'm referring, as I said in the beginning, he is very good, and he writes quite a bit, and you can follow him. He has a website now. And this is something I wanted to show you, that 17-year-old, look at this age bracket, all are teens and just over teen. These are the group we are talking about today. All my slides are about teens, see? And this is something, his name is Solomon Henderson, and he opened far in Antioch School in Nashville. And the diary he wrote, because most of them write a manifesto or diary, and these are the 4 things he mentioned, as you see on the screen. And this is something very common we see in terms of our young people subscribing to or believing in. And the social safety net varies from society to society. And that is why I told you that we are not going to talk about intervention, because each society is different. But these are the 4 general themes we see young people are subscribing to. And this is, again, very latest phenomenon, 764. Any idea? 764, no? 100% right. And this is, it has some relevant, connection with the occult and cult ideologies, but it is in Canada too. And here is the reference to Canada. And you'll be surprised that people have subscribed, and It's an RCMP note from their website that RCMP had to intervene because it has grown or gone onto that level. And you have a web link. Something our young people do very much, this cloud chasing. Any idea what this phenomena is? Cloud chasing. And this is why, folks, I really appeal to you that please allow us to run workshops where you can sign up with $100. Okay, so it won't be free, but please allow us, because we'll talk about this phenomena more in details. And we are talking about, but nobody is listening to us anyways. So this is something you'll find young people are doing, and it is again very common ideas where you pursue something. You need to be popular in many ways. And these are the behavioral or cognitive changes you can see or notice in the young people that you are dealing with if you're a teacher. But this phenomena is also gaining popularity now. And Mark again says in one of his posts that, have you also heard about 9 angels? 9 angels? No? Okay, so those who are very religious, you might have some ideas. But another case he was following, it is a combination of 764 COM-O and order of 9 angels on O9A. And this is just his post I have shared with you. But this is something is also coming up very quickly in our society. And you might be saying that why cult and cult psychology or cult things are coming back. I don't know. We are also surprised, but these are very much available for anyone to talk about this. So what he terms is esoteric hermeticism of the order of the 9 angels. So this is the main reference that this group uses. And occultism is the heart of their transformation. So he has a lengthy piece written. If you're interested, sometimes later you can read it out. But these things are very much available in the social media and messaging platform. He has a beautiful book written. I'm promoting on behalf of him because I like him very much. So you can read this whole book and you'll find a lot of things. Now, very quickly, we'll talk about roles of educators in addressing radicalization. Teachers have a very, very prominent role, and I think very important role. In our project over 3 years, we have discussed these things with many, many teachers in this school. And even the project has ended, we continue to engage teachers like this forum. And we say that, and we share our findings that students need strong identities, resilience, and sense of belonging. And of course, it is not the only responsibility of the teachers, educators, but it's a whole of society's responsibility. This is why in this conference, I love the title so much that I volunteered to speak, because this is something we kept on saying, but teachers are in the forefront in terms of inculcating these couple of essential items. Um, prevention strategies are absent, totally absent. Especially, I can say with authority in my province, there is nothing. We don't want to talk about it because we fear of backlash, we fear of attacking one against other, all these things. But there must be a strategy. Without strategy, how do you devise intervention? How do you say that do this, don't do that? But our provincial government is absolutely not willing to talk to us even with regards to anything. We have tried many, many ways. Federal government does funding and help and all these things, but it is just one part, right? But after that, the execution part is, because education is provincial matter, but province so far has paid no attention, no interest, and city too. The only province, two provinces in Canada has a lot of interest in these topics, and they're actively engaged is Quebec and Alberta. Alberta has a very wonderful program, OPV, Organization for Prevention of Violence, and Quebec has multiple. Quebec also has a National Center for De-radicalization and Counter-radicalization. But our province is absolutely not interested.
Which minister will be in charge of that?
Minister of Education. And we tried in many ways through many channels, our friends, well wishers, but I'm very much straightforward this morning that province has not reached out to us. In terms of schools, because school boards are independent and our groups are independent, and in any case we don't say that take those things and read it out and do it yourself. This is absolutely wrong idea. We don't want to overwhelm our teachers. We have met many teachers, as I said, in various forums. Teachers are already overwhelmed with a lot of information. We don't want to do that. We just wanted to equip them through workshops, regular things. And one thing we do very actively is to participate in PD days. I personally go and participate, present. For last 3 years, I'm doing it. So we do engage teachers through this. One thing our teachers reported in the project that we need to really infuse positive coping skills amongst our students. These coping mechanisms, and especially after October 7th and now Middle East conflict, these are going to impact our students because they come from homes. They listen to what their parents are talking about, what their siblings are talking about, what their cousins are talking about, and just imagine that is not their fault, because this is what we see in the media, this is what we discuss in our family, and they come to your class, and now what? They're confused how to frame it, even if they want to talk. So this is something we have learned from our project, and something we said that engage specialists. The reason is is today, in today's world, it is very easy to just go and search something. It is easy, okay, no problem. But you must be aware that many of these informations are not information at all, because either there are misinformation or disinformation. And this is why media literacy is very important for all of us educators and practitioners to understand and implement. So this is why we strongly say that refer to a specialist and whoever you choose, because this is how you at least understand who you are talking to, rather than just subscribing news from the online sources. Involve and connect, these are the two key words we have come across throughout our 2 years of project, 3 years of project. And in many cases, teachers again are very overwhelmed with so many responsibilities, but that sometimes distract them for connections. But through our project, we have seen some improvement, because we are regularly receiving feedback from some of them. So they talk to us, they ask our advice what to do in terms of these things. So this kind of things must be institutionalized. It is informal now, right? It is totally informal, but it must be institutionalized so that everybody can access the support of the specialist and connect. So this whole book is available in our website, www.erim.ca, www.erim.ca, and you can download the whole book free of cost. But if you want to donate, feel free. And if you need tax receipt, do let me know. But this is the strategy we have come up with. It's a cycle. And most importantly, I would only say that support is the component, because our teachers are not supported, believe me, they are not. The reason is they are treated isolately, and especially within the teacher group, only social science teachers are expected to deal with these things, not math, not English, and others. And this is something we are fighting against. That no, everybody has a responsibility to deal with this situation, not the social science teachers only. And PD resources, it is available for you to consult, download if you want to share. And this whole event we recorded when we wrapped up the project, you'll find interesting threads of discussion by all these big people in our society. And this was our project ending webinar. It's available in our YouTube channel. And we continue to educate, we engage teachers, and our main objective is, in any way, if our expertise can be used to prevent extremism and radicalizations amongst students, then we'll be very happy to contribute. And this book is available, as I said, free. And I just wanted to show you that we also have an interesting resource of searching symbols, because symbols carry a lot of meanings, especially for the young people. And as an educator, you might come across a lot of different symbols. Today I've shown some, but there are many. So in this database, we have collected 460. Of course, we are updating as much as we can, but you can search, and hopefully someday we'll create an app so that you are good to use this app. So that is the end of my very long monologue. I'm sorry for this, but this is what we do, just make you aware what is happening. Around 15 or 20 slides I prepared this morning for you only, because things are changing. And I had another presentation a month ago. So just imagine, within a span of 30 days, many things have changed in terms of groups and their philosophies. I had a very thank you. And I told you this is a very tough topic, and sometimes people don't, sort of clap, because they are a little confused what to clap about, right? I mean, should I clap about the presenter or topic, because both are problem. So, in regular workshops, it is you are different crowd, so I'm not going into this. But in regular workshop, what I do is just a sample. I kind of go into these groups and give scenarios and ask the group to come up with a solution. And this is what I tried last time, and we continue to do so. So this kind of scenario-based exercise helps me to understand the solutions coming from different groups in a different ways. And we just collect all these things and give it to the school board or school authority who has organized such workshops. So this is a sample that we continue to do. And this is the end of my discussion today with regards to the topic. And now we have a couple of minutes left. If you have any questions and concerns, floor is yours. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the clap. Absolutely. Any questions? Okay. So we go from this table one, then yeah. Labid, yes.
Hello,
Hi.
Professor.
Hi.
Just a personal question about Scrum. I'm just trying to make sense of. There's a lot of course, phobias and a lot of just hate speech, hate crimes that are being committed, and we're seeing that. But just Islamophobia, of course, we see numerous genocides, whether it's Bosnia, Palestine, the Rohingyas, Uyghurs, and Sudan, many. And we know that for a genocide to happen, it needs to have a lot of motivations behind it. People have to be kind of complicit or okay with an environment that you have to be almost conditioned to be repulsed by some identity marker of the people that we genocided, to make you either comfortable with the hate speech or hate behavior, or yourself the one who's committing the hate speech or hate behavior. And sometimes even our governments aren't just doing enough, is what I feel like. I can keep going at, like, the mainstream media that only kind of educates wrongfully sometimes. And I do think it's a conditioning, and I think it's wrongful. I see a lot of the vote, but how, because of the preventative mechanisms, of course, try to see if we can point out students in their schools who unfortunately will be flying into it if these kind of elements are there. But what about actually helping, like, the government or those spheres of influence and media to really change the way they're choosing to kind of feeding into all of this? That's not appropriate.
Your question is actually, in terms of value, is $1 million. There is no easy answer, and I might frustrate you, because this is something is really gripping our society in a very large way. The reaction of global conflict, as I just summarily said, we don't know how to respond to it, because you will be quickly judged whether you say something which is possibly factually correct. But this kind of judgment is so rampant, and people are afraid now, even just to say publicly something they believe that ought to be said. So, and our young people are absolutely, they are drawing from our, kind of reluctance to understand. And this social polarization is really, I'm personally worried about. I'm really personally worried about. And as I said, that we are very cautious when we say something because it is so contextually dependent. Your school board, your school has a different policy than his one because all are independent. So there must be a strategy. But I completely agree with you on a point that we should talk about it. If you don't talk about it, it is going to be more, because over the past decade of social media and all this research that we have done, something is that even if you don't want, people are already there. So it is something that you don't know. You are left behind in terms of, but they know, they are subscribing, they are very active in these things. Well, unless something happens, you don't get to know. But you are very right, we should talk, but there should be a proper strategy. It's not a political rhetoric, and we should be very careful when we say, when bring politics into it. Thank you.
If I could just make a quick comment, I don't want to, of course, take away from another person's question, but you mentioned like Quebec and Alberta are implementing this
Yeah,
system, which is
yeah.
Hopefully great if done properly.
If done properly.
Yeah, because Quebec and Alberta, I know they have the highest rate of a negative image of Islam.
Right.
They have
Both.
the percentage. They both have the highest of seeing Muslims. I forget the percentage, about 50%.
Right.
That they look at Muslims and Islam as a problem. I'm wondering in their schools if they're going to do a job in a very regulated manner, in a way that can prevent them feeding.
I think the Canadian government has taken some good step appointing two, representative of the Prime Minister. So both are working hard from their offices, and especially Islamophobia. Her office has prepared a whole book you can refer to. I think if these are kind of followed in, but again, I won't be commenting because I don't know exactly how school thinks in terms of dealing with these things. But a very good point. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And I guess congratulations for being willing to dive into a depressing book. My question for you is about the opportunities and responsibilities for us as members of faith communities. My sense is that many of the organizations and movements that you've described have drawn people, especially young men, into their movements because they're offering them easy answers to the questions that beset them, a sense of purpose. They're scratching a kind of internal itch that other parts of society have not been able to answer. Given that seems to be what is drawing people into radical and violent extremism, how do you think faith communities, as well as the education system, can offer an alternative narrative to these people? A sense of, you can have a sense of purpose and belonging to progress through something that is constructive rather than destructive.
Thank you very much again. My PhD was actually, a part of it was faith-based organization and their leaders' role in conflict transformation. I am 100% on board with you that faith communities have a greater role to play. But again, the problem is that we often shy away from bringing religious ideologies because we think that it becomes more polarizing. And in our schools, because we are a secular society, we don't promote particular faith and all these things. But I think the most prudent way is to bring this discussion about the common purpose. And we have multi-faith, interfaith groups here in our society. But seldom I saw these groups are actually doing something on ground with regards to extremism, counter narratives. To the best of my knowledge, nothing so far. And this is the gap we actively kind of advocating, that bring this group to the discussion, tell them to face the questions. Unless you face the question, you don't have to answer. I don't have an answer to Mr. Labid Ahmed's question, possibly, but I'm willing to talk to you, right? And this is with regret, sir, let me tell you that I don't see any faith groups kind of involved in any school things with regards to ongoing extremism and social polarization. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask you a question on a personal, spiritual level. How do you remain centered, grounded, and able to deal with this tsunami of shit?
Your last part is very important. I sleep. I sleep a lot, and but it is something I have taken personally because I am from a visible minority group, and nowadays we have a name, right? BIPOC, if you don't know, right? So I'm a very proud member of BIPOC, although I didn't subscribe actively. But the point is, the idea is that I do pursue because I think this is one of the fault lines of our civilization, and especially a multicultural society. This is a very, I would say, sensitive part. We don't talk about it, right? You see, in our huge multicultural platform, we simply avoid talking about it. And but this is happening. I teach at a university almost regularly from 19. I have a lot of students. I have seen them actively engaged in many, many groups. And now you will even possibly, as many of your parents, right, here, are you sure that you know your children are going through some of the things and they share with you? I don't think so. I don't. So, and the idea is subscribing these things and then turning into implementation is concern. But I sleep, and I have one person here present. Let me introduce David Gerald Newman, my mentor, Rotarian, and Gary Sent. So I go to them and I bombard them with all these bad things, and when they say it's enough, then I shut down.
I have to be, I'm the bad guy here.
Lunch.
It looks like this could go on for the whole of the lunch hour. I want to thank our presenter here and thank all of you for your attention, but it's lunchtime.